votes. And you know where they're finding them? By the way, in I think 6 out of 10 House races now. This is not the Senate. This is not Florida. This is another matter. These are close to being flipped to the Democrats based on provisional ballots. You know, I was questioned at the time they submit the ballot, either on Election Day or early voting absentee. They're eligible if they're legal, rather than tie everybody up on Election Day. Senate leaders had an Election Day, and that determined who the new leaders for the Republican majority of the Senate are. That is going on. In Palm Beach County, they're going to have to start their recount over because the voting machine's overheated. I thought that was just an election stunt created by Trump. Remember the media telling us there was no caravan. This is made up by Trump to gin up his base. Well, they're here on the Texas-Mexican border with Kirstjen Nielsen. Military is just there in a support situation. Meanwhile, the Republicans are having a press conference on who won their leadership election today. That is going on. The overheating voting machines in Palm Beach County said the reason for this is they're 10 years old and stress. 10-year-old technology cannot handle the stress to find votes. And you know where they're finding them? By the way, in I think 6 out of 10 House races now. This is not the Senate. This is not Florida. This is another matter. If they're legal. Well, guess what? Who do you think shows up and has provisional ballots cast? A bunch of people that aren't registered to vote. Show up in states where traditionally elections are close. You never hear about this in New York or California, although there is a congressional race in California where this is a factor, and it looks like it's a seat the Republicans held that they're going to lose. But for the most part, you don't hear about this in states where elections are not close. But in Florida and Ohio, elections are always close. And so it's not difficult for Democrats to conceive a strategy of having a bunch of people show up either early voting or absentee or Election Day who aren't eligible. Provisional ballots are cast, and then they end up being counted, and this is what we're looking at right now. Caring this much. We don't envision them planning this strategically. Republicans plotting ways to cheat, although they may. I mean, we got to be out. We don't know. But we be getting more and more intense this way, and we're seeing it now in Georgia. We got to delay the count. We got to delay the count because if we delay the count, we're going to find more votes. We got to. And so this is what we are. Meanwhile, the Republicans are holding a press conference announcing who won the leadership position. What's my point? While the Republicans are focused on themselves and so forth, there's a whole lot of stuff going on out there. Stuff it and hang on and wait their turn. They're too young to be in leadership. The leadership's going to have to hold their hands. This is not going to sit well. We've got CNN totally in the tank for Pelosi in drive-by media that we would encounter. Overheating voting machines, caravans starting to arrive on the Supreme Court for NPR. I forget what her first name is, but her last name is And the judge, a federal judge, has ordered Georgia to wait until Friday to certify the results of their midterm elections. The judge says she's acting over concerns about the state's voter registration system and the handling of provisional ballots again. Here we are. Do you know who the judge is? The judge is the sister of Nina Totenberg, who reports on the Supreme Court for NPR. I forget what her first name is. What is this? It means the judge is a radical extreme leftist. You know where this is going. Stacey Abrams, African American. So obviously, Republicans in Georgia pulled a fast one and tried to limit voter participation by African Americans by screwing around with the voter registration. You can see where this is headed. You can see where the allegation is headed. The judge is making the case herself rather than waiting for a lawyer to show up in her courtroom to do it. Ballots. Where will that head? Well, the judge will say some provisional ballots that are eligible might be eliminated. Republicans or these people that run the polling centers might be throwing them out when they shouldn't be, and I need the extra time to make sure that they are counted. Me is Amy Totenberg, sister of Nina Totenberg. It's an interesting point of fact. I'm not saying it matters. I'm just saying, like all Obama appointees, radical leftist elections. So don't worry about that. It is a lie. The drive-by media is saying it is a lie that Democrats are trying to steal elections. It's perfectly legitimate to mix in provisional ballots with regular ballots so they can't. Reasons I've been focusing on them. And we haven't even gotten to the ballots of undervotes and overvotes. The caravan that was never going to make it to the U.S. border is now at the U.S. border. The same caravan that we were assured would never reach us because it was impossible to walk 1,000 miles, is showing up at the border in Tijuana. And guess what? They took buses. They took lots of buses, brought them to the border. And it turns out that there was a guy down there embedded with this particular caravan, and he took video. He posted it on Facebook. He appeared on Fox last night. And a splinter group from Migrant Caravan, first to arrive in Tijuana. Are you telling me that lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgenders have a splinter group that's in the caravan? Speak about this. Don't misunderstand. A group of LGBT bike migrants who were part of a massive caravan slowly marching toward the U.S. border of Tijuana Sunday. First